Hey, what's going on people? It's SGZ here from the SpartanGameZone, and in this video we'll be counting down the top 10 legendary shields in Borderlands 3. Shields have completely transformed since the last time I did this countdown, providing more damage than ever before and even more ways to play. These are the best shields you can hope for, and I'll be letting you know how you can get them, what they do, and where they perform best. If this video helped you out, I'd appreciate you helping me out by dropping a like, and feel free to subscribe if you want to, or even follow me on Twitter. And let's crack into it. We open this countdown of the top 10 legendary shields in Borderlands 3 with the Transformer, the original number 1. But just like with Optimus Prime, there comes a time when Michael Bay walks away. Actually, I'm not sure what that means. Either way, it has an increased chance to drop from Queen Antoinette you fight around here in the Splinterlands. The Transformer comes with fixed parts and is one of 2 immunity shields in the entire game, preventing you from taking any and all forms of shock damage. It not only prevents you from getting shocked, it will also refill your shield, so instead of taking damage, you'll be receiving life points. You can use that to your advantage by coupling a purely shock focused build with electric splash damage weapons and shooting at your enemies' feet to have them explode while you keep your shields intact. Using that tactic makes it impossible for you to die as long as you keep shooting, and because it has the highest bullet absorption rate of any shield in the game, sitting at 40%, you'll never run out. That tactic never gets old and still works flawlessly till this day. Up next is the Old God, a shield that can spawn with 3 augments and belongs to the Guns, Love and Tentacles DLC, with an increased chance to drop from Eleanor and Heart's Desire. The Old God is a shield that is one with the elements, boosting your elemental damage and reducing the amount you take. What element that is depends on the shield. It increases your damage of its attuned element by 20% and provides you with 25% elemental resistance of that element. However, the bonus damage is based on how full the shield is and will need to be at max capacity to receive the entire bonus. It's best when paired with matching elemental weapons, and was formerly one of the few shields that actually increased your damage. There's more competition in that regard these days, but it's still a solid shield. Now for the Plus Ultra, a shield that belongs to the Psycho Krieg DLC and drops most often from Dr. Benedict and the Benediction of Pain. The Plus Ultra gets an Ultra Plus from me, not just for the effects listed on the card, but the effect it has in secret. On the card you get a 25% chance to absorb bullets as ammo and increase your action skill cooldown rate by 30% for a few seconds. That is great on its own, but what can't go unnoticed is its hidden ability to double your health. That makes it a fantastic shield for increasing survivability, making it great for flak. Its action skill cooldown rate boost also can't be missed, helping all Vault Hunters to get those long awaited action skills back even quicker. It can also spawn with the multivitamin prefix to massively increase its capacity, which is the perfect complement to its health boost. Now for the Super Soldier, a fallen hero's vault card reward as part of the director's cut. The Super Soldier is a great shield when it isn't bugged, which unfortunately seems to be half the time these days. The buffs it provides include a 50% boost to movement speed and fire rate, along with granting you 5% passive ammo regeneration per second as long as your shield is full. Those 3 buffs are great, but the big one is the shield it grants you after recharging, which prevents all damage for 5 seconds, or at least it used to. Nowadays its protective bubble isn't as effective, and without that to keep it from being drained, you won't see its other bonuses at all. When it's working, an action skill start anointment is the one you'll want, but thanks to Mose and her former ability to do this, the Super Soldier is no longer reliable. Moving on to the Stinger, a melee Nova Blaster which can only be dropped by Anathema, the first boss of the Guardian takedown. The Stinger boosts your melee damage by 50% when full, which is nice to begin with, but not where its true greatness lies. That lies within the Novas it summons, which deal melee damage attuned to its element. Cryo proves to be the most potent, but lacks the damage over time effect, which you can have a lot of fun with when paired with the Unleash the Dragon artifact. A Flaming Stinger and that relic will combine to produce monstrous ticks of damage, especially on a melee focused Amara, burning mobs to a crisp and seeing those bosses crumble to ash in no time. Because it deals melee damage, each Nova's force can be boosted by a number of different things, artifacts, class mods, skills, you name it, they all combine to create a formidable shield. The single best item to increase its damage is definitely a 150-90 Psycho Stabber, which will have you shaking the planet whenever you set one off. If you're looking for the best anointment, action skill start is great and will have you releasing Novas much more often. It's also wonderful when combined with a Ripper, where it can be used to transport its effect onto surrounding enemies, massively increasing its DPS. Moving on to the Void Rift, a Cryo Nova shield with fixed parts that only drops from the annoying Empowered Scholar you fight around here in Dustbound Anchovies as part of the Guns, Love and Tentacles DLC. The Void Rift always comes in Cryo and combines the effects of the Black Hole and Impaler. Whenever its shield breaks, a black hole will conjure out of thin air and attempt to suck enemies into it as a Cryo Nova erupts a few moments later. It will often cause your enemies to stumble or even ragdoll across the floor, completely preventing them from fighting back for a short period. With an action skill start anointment, you'll constantly see enemies stagger like Mick Jagger as they try to resist the pull from its void, and it even works on anointed enemies. You don't really understand just how big an effect it has until you start using it. Each stumble for that apple crumble gives you plenty of time to eliminate your targets before they're back on their feet. It's ultimately a really fun shield to use, and it's fantastic while mobbing. Coming up next is the Frozen Heart, or Snowshoe. They're pretty much the same shield, but I prefer the Frozen Heart, which you can get from Aurelia around here in Black Barrel Cellars. And the Snowshoe drops from the Valkyrie squad in the Melimon takedown. These shields do things no other shields can do, and that's heal you completely. Whenever its shield breaks, an ice cold Nova will swarm the field, covering a wide area and freezing people solid while returning the damage dealt back as health. It's another shield made for an action skill start anointment, where you can trigger its Nova over and over again. It's an amazing shield, especially on Flak, who finds healing hard to come by, and its ability to freeze people not only stops them from shooting you, but makes it easier to shoot them while making them even weaker to critical hits or the pokey with the knifey. Its insta-freeze also pairs well with an icebreaker artifact, and there's plenty of ways to build around this shield. Time now for the Mana Well, a new shield that belongs to the Bunker Master's Vault card as part of the Director's Cut. The Mana Well is a shield where you'll need to slam like Graham on her 80th to feel its effect. Slamming will cause your shield to steadily drain but provide you massive damage reduction while also netting you 100% bonus shock damage. Its effect lasts for 10 seconds regardless of your shield's maximum capacity, and because the damage reduction is crazy high, you'll pretty much serve that whole time dealing its extra damage. That is, if it wasn't for those barrels. My number one gripe with this shield is that half the time I slam, I blow up a barrel, which takes my shield away and forfeits its effect completely. I guess that's the price you pay for speccing into health over Magicka. Normally its effect will be hard to trigger, but with the Come On and Slam Guardian rank, you'll be able to slam at any height, letting you tap into its power wherever you go. That makes for a great shield for all Vault Hunters in all builds, as its effect isn't tied to any action skills, allowing you to activate it at any time. It synergizes best in builds where you're already slamming, like a Spellcaster Flak, where slamming will not only set down deadly coils, but boost their damage too. You can use it regardless though, making it a great shield with an even greater damage boost. Next up, the Infernal Wish, an amazing and unique shield which drops in arms race, most often from this chest. The Infernal Wish is a shield that is capable of literally doubling your damage, but you need to use the right type of gun to get the full effect. While there's some charge in it, an extra projectile will be added to each of your shots, making single shot weapons like the Backburner or Plasma Coil even deadlier than they come, allowing you to rip through health bars in half the time. However, it does have one key downside, and that is in its ability to burn you whenever you fire too much. Its burn effect is often unrelenting and will lead to your demise if you haven't accounted for it. However, on a mitosis mode you don't have that problem and can forget about it completely with the Bloodletter class mod. It is her number one shield, letting you rock and roll all day like a spherical stone down a hill, dealing double damage with all single bullet weapons. For other characters you might want to steer clear of fully automatic guns and only mob with launchers or semi-automatic sniper rifles, but it will have you one-shotting bosses either way. Before number one is revealed, let's dive into some honourable mentions. First up, the Stopgap, a shield made to keep you alive, which has an increased chance to drop from L Dragon Jr. you fight around here in Jacob's Estate. Ever tried to use your words and ask your enemies to stop hurting you, found out that didn't work? Well, this is the shield for you. Whenever it depletes, you'll enter your very own immunity phase and be free from all damage for 5 seconds. It protects you from everyone, even yourself, although it must be fully recharged before it can happen again. However, with an action skill Start Anointment, you can enter immunity phases at will, making it a fantastic shield for improving survivability, especially on Flak, and Zane and Amara can use it well too. Next up, the version 0.M, an amp shield with a twist that can only be obtained by defeating the Valkyrie squad during the Maliwan takedown. The version 0.M is one of the best amp shields in the game, draining 25% of your shield's capacity to boost your next shot's damage by 125%. And it doesn't end there. It will also spawn a red circle on the ground after fully depleting that will have you deal 50% more damage while you're standing in it. Last time we covered this shield, the circle was up the wrong way, but it seems the game finally got the memo and put it back on the X-axis where it belongs. That makes it even better than it was before, increasing its effectiveness in both the mobbing and bossing fields. The next honourable mention I have for you is the Front Loader, which has an increased chance to drop from private beams around in this area of Athenas as part of the quest Invasion of Privacy. The Front Loader is one of only 2 ways in the game where you can constantly proc any U-Rat anointments on all Vault Hunters, the other being the Deathless artifact. It does that by reserving 60% of your max health and returning it as shields. That puts you below the required 50% health, which is just what you need to deal some unhealthy amounts of rad damage. However, with shields being so good now and the U-Rat anointment getting nerfed, the payoff is much less than what it once was. But if you don't have access to the newer shields, it's still a good option, especially for fadeaway Flak. Another honourable shield is the Red Suit, the game's second immunity shield, which you can only get by farming Atomic around here in the Tanzania ruins. The Red Suit is what the brave men of Chernobyl would have wanted, protecting you from all forms of radiation damage, and it can spawn with 2 augments. That immunity is priceless, especially when using an Eraser Zane mixed with the Hustler class mod. In that setup there's explosions everywhere and would have you insta-down without this shield. What's also interesting is that the damage over time effect it applies will proc an elemental projector artifact, which you can use to become even more powerful. The last honourable mention I have for you is the Faulty Star, a unique Nova shield that drops from Locomumbius around here in Sapphire's Run as part of the Psycho Krieg DLC. The faulty star isn't your typical Nova shield. Novas don't ring out around you, but the enemies who are shooting at you. That makes it great on a flak pet build where pet damage scaling is applied to each Nova, blowing enemies apart whenever they pick on your little friend. It's a top tier shield for that build and can cause some serious damage. We're here, we made it to the top of the flagpole, and who is hoisted up there? It's the Revolter, an incredible shield that belongs to the Director's Cut and has an increased chance to drop from Sumo, who you fight in Escatan Row around in this area. The Revolter is the B shield of Borderlands 3, a shield almost all characters just have to have, although it has much steeper competition. When your shield breaks, you will be both shocked and angry. They call that shock and raged, and while shock and raged, 200% bonus shock damage will be applied to every single one of your damage sources until you come down about 15 seconds later. That's a huge damage boost, but it goes a step further by also increasing your fire rate by 50% for that same time period. To activate its unique effect 24/7 on most characters, you'll want to get one with an action skill start anointment, which will have you zapping enemies with high voltage in every single situation. The one downside with this shield is that it doesn't provide great protection, but they say the best form of defense is a good offense, and you won't find a better offense than this. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, learned of the top 10 legendary shields in Borderlands 3 and what one works best for you. If you did, consider dropping a like or subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one.